In this final chapter of Volume 1, we will bring together all the musical elements we have studied so far. The mindset sessions, wrist and elbow motion, sound imagination, inner singing, arm weight and posture. These form the foundation of healthy technique and controlled tone production, the essential base for all future work. Even though it may have taken you about 2 months to study these elements diligently through the theory, exercise and practice videos, you'll soon discover that when applying them to new pieces as part of the PianoWell approach, they will take much less time to revisit. Believe it or not, in a piece of 3 to 4 pages from the advanced repertoire, you will be able to apply all these principles within about 4 to 5 hours spread over the first 2 days of work. So, don't feel overwhelmed. Knowing this, give yourself all the time you need to refine and polish these essential musical elements before moving on to the next volumes of the program. In this chapter, we will also reintroduce sound imagination into our practice, a skill developed earlier, which we set aside for a while as we focused on intonation, arm weight, and posture. This element will now allow you to shape your tone through touch and active fingertips, translating your sound imagination of both sound texture and sound movement directly into the keyboard. Once again, since more refined nuances such as harmony, color, dynamics and voicing will be explored in depth in the next volume, for now we will simply focus on achieving an even, balanced tone. Up to this point in the program, during the practice sections of our lessons, we have been following a very detailed, sometimes even overly detailed, step-by-step process. These steps were essential for training and practicing completely new elements in your playing, physical, mental, and vocal. In this section, you will no longer receive detailed reminders about the exact sequence of steps or explanations for each element of practice. The following instructions are presented as if you were approaching a new piece of music for the first time. And this is exactly the sequence you would follow during the first 2 days of your practice, except for articulations, which we will explore in depth in the next volume. In the PianoWell Recovery Program book, which also includes the videos you see here, I've included examples from my own 2-day practice sessions with advanced repertoire to let you experience how all of this comes together in real practice. These 2 days are usually the most demanding and overwhelming. They require focus, time, and patience. The remaining 7 days of the process, as you'll discover later in this program, are far less intense and take much less time, yet they are entirely built upon the foundation you establish in these first 2 days. Keep gently returning your focus to sound imagination while playing. Avoid letting your fingers move faster than your attention. Let your mind lead your hands. Play softly and connected using legato or portamento style intonation as your default articulation to keep your hands and tone relaxed. If you find yourself losing focus in either hand or notice that your 3D wrist motion becomes unclear, return to hands-separate practice. This simply means your muscle memory and subconscious may need a bit more time to fully absorb the new movement. Give it the space it needs. Clarity will come through repetition with attention. Make sure that when playing with both hands, you take enough time before playing any intervals or chords. Allow yourself to be fully prepared in your mind before touching the keys. If imagining polyphonic textures still feels challenging, continue imagining the notes sequentially at first, gradually reducing the time between them. As soon as you can clearly hear all the notes together, play them with your hands. Write down the fingering in the score as you play using an intuitive pedal. Mark position change notes and add the pedal indications in the score. You may play through the piece using 3D wrist motion and elbow motion, gently releasing the fingers on the circled notes. Later, once you feel confident with these skills, this step will no longer be necessary. Instead, on the following day, you'll move straight to playing with correct hand motion after first imagining every note in its sound texture. Play at a slow tempo, keeping the rhythm, but without adding dynamics or articulations. This time, you can move on to practicing each step throughout the entire piece without limiting your work to 4-bar sections. If you still feel uncertain about your needs or the emotions behind your dreams, continue with the following step. If you've already done this exercise before and feel clear, positive, and confident about what you're about to bring into your imagined sound, you may skip this step and move on. Start with breath work, meditations, or journaling. Then move to manifestation. Take a moment to clarify your needs and connect with the energy of your dreams. Imagine each note in sound texture, combining it with sound movement and glissando between notes. Play with 3D motion, sound imagination, and intonation and weight. Before you begin, imagine the first 2 notes in sound texture with sound movement. Relax your throat, feel free energy in your body. Maintain awareness of your posture. Transfer weight into the instrument. While playing, intonate each interval with weight, keeping hands light. Imagine the notes in sound texture with sound movement and glissando, infusing each note with the energy of your dream. Play with 3D motion, sound imagination, intonation and weight, infusing each note and intonation with the energy of your dream. If it feels natural, you may play at a slightly faster tempo. Let your 3D wrist motion become elliptical without dropping the wrist below the surface of the keyboard. Imagine both staves in sound texture with sound movement and glissando. Play with 3D motion, sound imagination, intonation, and weight. Before playing, imagine the first 2 harmonic intervals, hearing them clearly in your mind. Relax your throat and sense free energy grounded in your body. Stay aware of your posture. Begin by transferring weight into the instrument. While playing, intonate each interval with weight while keeping your hands light, empty, weak, and loose, so the energy flows freely through each motion. Imagine both staves in sound texture with sound movement and glissando, infusing each note with the energy of your dream. Play with 3D motion, sound imagination, intonation, and weight, infusing each note and intonation with the energy of your dream. If it feels natural, you may play at a slightly more moderate tempo. Let your 3D wrist motion become elliptical without dropping the wrist below the surface of the keyboard. Avoid adding ghost rolls on longer notes. At this tempo, they may introduce unnecessary tension.